Okay guys, this is part 2 of Ryan Bigley talking about strategies and techniques you can use for fishing coho salmon in the Puget Sound.
I'm a good one to drop them over. I do a lot of that. So if you don't have a downrigger, I would say that right now is the time to go out fishing in the Sound. There is no question about it. I can't remember in the past 5 or 6 years when the coho fishing has been as good as it is right now. I don't know if anybody else can, let me know. But you know, it is pretty standard to get double-digit numbers of fish before 10 o'clock, before noon, for sure, for the guys out fishing. So it's real good fishing right now. If you don't have downriggers, you can set yourself up with a mooching rod, just a cannonball sinker on a slider. If you just got a little banana weight, same kind of thing, anywhere from 4 to 10 ounces. You know, 5 or 6 is probably best. Just a 4 or 5 foot leader to a herring works great. You could put a spoon on there too and just go and troll that real slow with the current. Just about a 35 or 40 degree line angle. Put your rod in the rod holder. Let anywhere from 50 to 100 feet of line out and troll around, and you'll get them. Fishing's good. There's a lot of fish around. If you see some bait, definitely focus in that area. Out in the bay, Everett area, Mukilteo area, it seems like the bait's been a little closer to shore, a little more concentrated in there. So that's something to keep in mind. Divers work as well. And this also is a great setup if you have 2 downriggers and you want to fish a rod on each downrigger, but you got a 3rd guy with you. You know, first thing in the morning, you can throw one of these out the back and let 20 feet of line out, 30 feet of line out right in that kicker prop wash, and you can catch a lot of fish. Kent was telling me the other day that he caught more of his fish on that back rod than he did on his 2 downriggers. So they're around. Divers work real well too. The one thing I'm going to caution you with the divers is we have a lot of people fishing out in the Puget Sound right now. Just be aware that the guys with downriggers are going to fish really close together. I'm going to fish me here, and the guy ahead of me is going to be at the back wall here. I can fish that close to the guy because he's only got 50 feet of line behind him maybe. If you got a diver out, you're going to have a lot more line out. Just be aware that if you cut in front of a guy with a downrigger, you're probably going to get hung up. So, and all of us, I'm a culprit for sure. I take for granted that there's guys trolling around with divers out there. So just keep that in mind. But it's another choice. And there's all sorts of different ones. And the guys here at the shop can get you dialed in if you want something there. So, electronics. First of all, I'm going to fess up and tell you that this is a picture from Alaska. Very seldomly do you see fish finder pictures like this here in Washington State. If you do, don't leave. So just a little bit real quick what you're seeing. This is actually krill, this big red line. So it's bait. You're going to say it's krill. That's what it's going to show up like on your fish finder now. Just a big line like that. You'd see bait like that, same thing. The closer it is to black or red, the more dense it is. And this is a school of fish right here and a school of fish right here. And every time those fish came up, you could catch 6 king salmon all at once in Alaska. So if you see something like that around your downrigger and all of a sudden it goes off, pay attention to that. Keep that spot in mind. If you have a GPS, make a mark. If you don't have a GPS, try and look at the beach and triangulate yourself, because the current out there pushes you around real quick. And you can think you're in the same spot, but you're a quarter mile away, and you can get blown off those fish. So look for feeding fish. If they're moving, you can see them angling towards your downriggers, towards your skier. Mark where you caught fish. I fished yesterday morning. I caught 4 fish and was done at 8:30. And we lost a couple. And I caught all my fish in a 100-yard spot. Every time I went over my mark, I put a waypoint on my GPS, and every time I went over, I caught a fish. I watched a couple guys catch one, and then just keep trolling. and then another guy catch one, and then just kept trolling, and I just kept doing donuts. So if you can stay on them, pay attention to that. Pay attention to what's around you when you're catching fish. If there's little black birds diving all around you, coming up with bait in their mouth, or when you're fighting your fish, it's spitting up herring or spitting up bait, or you see little herring jumping when you're trolling around and you're catching fish, stay in that area. You don't have to move. Fish will stay there. So, flashers. You know, the old deal is if you're going to fish in the Puget Sound, you can have any flasher as long as it's green. I think we've all heard that, right? We probably all have plenty of green flashers now. Well, if you haven't caught on to the craze yet, there's something called UV, and it is incredible. I'm a fan. I have not found a place where UV hurts me yet. So these two top flashers are made by Gibbs now. And I think a lot of manufacturers have them, but the Gibbs ones is what I've been fishing. Thanks to Kyle in the back there. He's got me all dialed in. He gave me this red one and told me to give it a try. So I thought I'd give it a try. I gave it 5 minutes, and I caught a fish, and I haven't taken it off my rod yet. So it was a pretty good producer for me yesterday. But this red stripe UV one has been good, especially not as good right away in the morning as some of the glow ones. But it's been good once the sun comes up. So that UV is a real good choice. And then the glow greens. Any of these glow, just a regular green glow or the green with the orange or red stripe on it, has been real good early. So if I'm going to fish 2 rods, I'm going to fish one with this and one with the UV. And then kind of in the afternoon, if it starts to switch up, I'll put 2 UVs on. They also make a green one with this Moon Jelly UV reflective tape. And this has been real good too once the sun comes up. So I kind of switch back and forth. Oh, here we go. So a couple things. Ace high flies. I mean, you can't go wrong. I don't have one tied up here, but they're great. They work really well. The profile that they give, this is the needlefish one. You can see what the glow in the dark with the UV looks like under a UV light. They're incredible. And you rig them just like a squid. You're going to put a double hook leader, a couple beads, and hook it on. Standard colors, glow, white, and then green spatterback. You can't go wrong with any of those. I'm a big fan of blue for king salmon, and the purple one at the far end is kind of a little known one. A few of us will fish it. There's a customer here at Three Rivers who I will guarantee you he fishes 2 of those. If he fishes 2 rods, he has 2 purple ace high flies on. That's it. That's all he fishes, and he catches a lot of fish. So there's something to be said. This one I put in here for kings, but the reason I saved this slide is because it has this mother of pearl squid in it. And I haven't been super confident with that one for cohos. Again, Kyle this year fired me up, and he says, you got to give that mother of pearl one a little bit more of a chance. And that combo with the red flasher and the mother of pearl squid has been real productive for me this year. And then the rest of them are all pretty standard. The only one I really can't say that I've caught a bunch of coho on is that blue one. But the rest of them I think would work probably just fine. Right now I'm not sure that it really matters all that much. Squid for coho, dark green splatterback, the purple UV, glow with chartreuse stripe, and then this 4th one over. Oh, I think I got a laser right here. Apple core. It's the squid that's on this one if you want to look later. It looks like an apple core. It's pretty much just all glow right here. This is this is my squid. I will not go out in the bay and fish for silvers if I don't have one of these down. I am just that confident. Maybe by the end of the year, Kyle will have me converted to the mother of pearl, but we'll see. We'll see. It's a close. I'm about tied this year. So that would be my one go-to rig there. I've also started using these smiley blades, if you're familiar with these. See them like on some of the new wedding ring stuff. I put a little bead, couple little glow beads, and put one of those ahead of my squid if I fish a second or third rod. And I've seemed to have pretty good success. I can't say that it outfishes the other rod 10 to 1, but it definitely doesn't slow the production down. So what you see here is you just see the hooks, a couple beads, 2 or 3 beads, an insert, and your squid. So you want to make sure you use an insert, either a twinkle skirt or any of those. That's going to give some extra flash underneath, and it's also going to keep the head of that squid above the hooks and keep it from running down on your leader. Flasher and squid, we talked already, right? I said no less than 30 pounds, and fluorocarbon's good. I think it really improves your catch rate. That's it. 37 inches a leader is what I measure from the back hook to the knot on your flasher. And I fish that pretty standard around. Some guys like 34, some guys like 37, 38. But 37 is my number. It just seems to be pretty standard and works well. I think you can kind of adjust that. If you fish a longer leader, you're going to have to fish a little faster and get that thing moving a little bit better. If you shorten that leader up, your squid's going to move more erratically. It's going to be like you're moving faster. So keep those things in mind. And that's something to play with. If you're fishing and for some reason you're watching a guy next to you catch him, either speed up or maybe shorten your leader 3 or 4 inches. Give that a shot. And pay attention to those things. If you got one rod and it just seems to be catching all the fish that day, measure that leader and change your other rod. Even if it's not the same squid, change your other rod to that leader length. That can really be productive.
Wow, what a lot of great information here in part 2. Make sure you move on to part 3 for more great tips for fishing coho salmon in the Puget Sound.